Hey everyone, let's wrap up March. Surprisingly, a lot happened in March on my channel. I tore out carpet in my apartment, and thank you all for liking that, and I decided not to do anything with the floor for now. It's going to stay like this because at the moment I really enjoy it. We also talked about reviewing sequels, and I told you how I always have a problem because I don't know what to say and I don't want to spoil things, and I really liked hearing what you said about watching reviews or making reviews of sequels or middle books in a series. I really enjoyed our discussion there. Just as I enjoyed all your wishes that when we talked about wishes to commit to a radio show, what you kind of wanted. And there were some cool ideas. I think I might use them if I ever get the chance that somebody is going to fulfill my wishes. We also talked about introverts connecting to people, and I tried to give advice while not really being an introvert. And I really enjoyed your comments there, so thank you very much. Just as I enjoyed your comments on my letter to March. And of course, thank you for all the birthday wishes and kind words on my nothingness video, because I left it again. I'm better, so that's good. And that brings us already to the books, because we also had a discussion about a book, but not really about the book, but connected to the book. We talked about Home by Nadia Corafor, which is the second book in the Binti series. And despite Binti being really interesting and captivating and plot-driven, Home really doesn't have anything going for it. It was rather slow and nothing much happened, but I often felt that the purpose of the book, presenting a strong female character, was too much in the foreground, so it took away from the enjoyment, and I really enjoyed our discussion there. And I'm quite happy to say that I found a much better book for representing or presenting strong female characters. I read Jacobi this month by William Ritter, and it has a strong female narrator. It's set in the 1850s in America, in a small town, and this young girl comes from Europe. She kind of ran away because she wanted to go on an adventure. She didn't want to just sit at home and watch her father go and do stuff. And this is a very interesting story about a detective, and they're going on a mystery hunt. The mystery is not that mysterious. It's quite see-through, and the things that are happening, you can predict a lot, but it's very much fun to read because you can always see her also mentioning that she doesn't want to sit at home. She doesn't want to be that girl, and she doesn't just want to be a woman, but it's not so much in your face that it's annoying as it was in Home. I also really enjoyed the writing in this book. It was very flowery, descriptive at points, but it's part of her character and what she does for the detective. And so it really made sense, and it just made me smile at times. The mystery also has some supernatural aspects, and so it's just a fun plot-driven book with good female lead. I can highly recommend this book. Another book with a great female lead I read was Jane Steele, which is a retelling of Jane Eyre, but it has a twist to it with Jane Steele being a murderer and trying to find her way in life. And she draws connections to Jane Eyre all the time, and it was so much fun to read. The writing had me just captivated and glued to the pages. The story was good. I liked the characters, and it had some super interesting twists, and I really like this retelling of Jane Eyre. I can highly recommend it. I also finished The Noise of Time by Julian Barnes this month, and this book is, I don't really know. I, of course, went into it blindly. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what the story was. So in the beginning, I was like, I like this character. I like the writing. It was very mixed up. It's jumping back and forth between stories in the present and the past. It's split in 3 parts, and the first part gives us the past of the main character, and we learn a lot about him. And the main character is a composer in Russia, and it's talking about the time between the First and the Second World War in the first part, and how he's been treated, and how fear is a huge part of his life, and how he's a coward and things. And I really like the portrayal of this character. The second part moves forward, and the third part even more into the present. And by the third part, I was kind of confused, and I finally realized that this is a real person. This is the story of a real composer that existed. Of course, it's fictionalized and it's not a biography, but it's based on the biography and stories of this composer. My thought about this book shifted along the way. At some point I was thinking if Julian Barnes is the right person to really make a comment on how it is to live in a social or in the Russian oppressive state under Stalin and everything. And that's when I didn't know it was a real person, so I was confused there. But at the end, when I found out it's a real person that he's telling the story of and everything is based on facts or truth, that it became a little bit more weird and interesting. And so I'm not really sure about my thoughts on the life of this person or what the book wants to tell me. but it was very interesting and very well written. On audio, I mainly continue 2 series. I listened to another book in the Dresden files, Blood Rights, and I really enjoyed where the story is going now. We have a twist, we have turns, and it really took away the down or disinterest that I felt after the last book. So I'm kind of looking forward to continue with the series again. And I also finished listening to the 4th book in the Pillars of Reality series, The Pirates of Pacta Servanda, and I really enjoy where the story is going. It's so much fun, and I'm going to do a series wrap up completely once I'm done. But I think I have a few more books to go. So that was my March. A lot of good reading, a lot of reading for a change again, and I really enjoyed that. A lot of other things that happened. Thank you all very much for sticking with me and hanging out, and I hope April will be just as good despite a lot of work. Thank you very much. Tell me how your March was. Bye bye.